Hello. If you have not, if you can see, we're getting started here in a minute. It's been a minute since we've done this, so we want to make sure everything is right. Seems to be. Let's check this. Channel. Perfect. All right. Everything is on. Perfect. Twitch is going. YouTube is going. Hello. It's been a minute, but welcome back to Divided America. I'm your host, George Siska. We hosted this show for roughly 6 months back in the fall and the winter. We've been taking the summer off streaming wise, but we're never off. We've been, let's go back, right? The focus groups, I listen to a lot of Dan Le Batard show, and focus groups say people don't want sports and politics together in there. They just don't want it together. Well, I've always gone against focus groups. I've always gone against the grain. So, and these are my specialties, sports and politics. So let's lean into it, right? I went to the Rhode Island Attorney General debate last night, hosted by WPRI, and I first want to shout out to Ted Nesi and Tim White. They did an amazing job moderating. They should be doing national moderation. They work together very well. They fact check immediately because they know the state, right? They as soon as someone one of the candidates answers or doesn't answer a question, they were quick to tell them you didn't answer the question, and they were also quick to say, well, that wasn't very true according to this, that, or the other thing. So let's start off with who I think did the best, right? I have it, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitch, you can see the layout here, and you'll see I have put it in order: Jason Knight, Keith Hoffman, Kim Ahern, and Joe Solomon. That's that. I didn't randomly choose those. I chose those because that's who I thought did the best last night, in order. Now let me be perfectly clear and disclaimer. I have donated to Keith Hoffman, so I'm being perfectly and honestly transparent here. Like I just I I believe in him. I've been to his events, and Mr. Knight just blew everybody out of the water last night. He was just he was calm. He was collect. He had answers to pretty much everything. He has experience in the AG office, and he's quite progressive. He's got a great track record. He's a state senator. He's a Navy vet. I mean, as people that know Divided America understand our connection to veterans. It's after watching an amazing, well, not I wouldn't say an amazing debate. It was held well. The beginning, good God, Kim, kick back, Kim. Like, Jesus Christ, you got to answer the question. Like 5 minutes. I mean, it was immediately into the debate. Tim asked you a direct question, and it took him 3 or 4 times and he told you, he's like, you still haven't answered the question, you still haven't answered. All you had to do was just own up to the one mistake that you made. One mistake that you made in the AG's office. Should we talk about your Cannabis Control Commission? I'd love to see, and I'm going to research and report on the revenue difference between Rhode Island and Massachusetts, because I can tell you, no one from North. I see. It was echoing. I apologize. It's been a while since we've done this. Going back to Miss Ahern. She was impressive. She seemed like an impressive prosecutor. Although in person she seemed impressive, but her track record does not is not as impressive. And like I was saying about the Cannabis Control Commission, there's been reports from independent reporter Steve Alquist, who does really good work here in Rhode Island. He has been reporting on. I don't want to say I call her Kickback Kim, but I mean it seems like she was giving money to McKee through the Cannabis Control Commission. Steve Alquist has the receipts. He's put out a lot of reports on this, a lot of reporting, and he's asked for direct answers. But as we saw from last night, Kim Ahern will not give you direct answers. It was a layup in the beginning, just a simple mea culpa, right? That's all you had to do. All you had to do was just say I screwed up and moved on, and you might have had an easier night last night. So that we're talking about, we give too much time to her. We'll talk real quickly about Joe Solomon. Joe Solomon was up there as a Democrat, but I heard Republican answers. No offense to Joe, seemed like a nice guy, and but I don't know you as well as the other candidates. But again, like when I hear, like I'm sitting there, I was taking notes, right? I was all the way in the back. I'm sitting there taking notes, and then I hear, well, I'm going to leave that to the towns and cities. And the very first, they were talking about flock cameras, and the very first thought to me was, well, that's a very Republican answer, right? Because that's what they do. They let it to the states, to the towns, where Democrats kind of have a universal idea, or at least have some idea. You didn't seem to have too many fresh ideas, but you did go out and say that you were going to be the only one to have fresh ideas in that office, which once again is very, dare I say, Trumpian. You know, when you say you're the only one that can handle it, and then it's not a good look, Mr. Solomon. So yeah, those two at the bottom, I basically would write them off in Rhode Island. Now why listen to me, right? Give you a quick little preamble. I have an undergrad in political science at the University of Rhode Island. I studied at the Defense Language Institute, learning Russian in roughly 47 weeks, the second time through. I still speak a little bit of Russian. I went to master's school for journalism. Did not finish because there are issues with the not the post 9/11 GI Bill, but the Chapter 31 version of the GI Bill, which is interfering with my master's degree, current master's degree. So again, why listen to me? I'm in these rooms. I'm in donation rooms. I'm in Republican rooms. I'm in Democratic rooms. So I have somewhat of an idea of what's going on here. Now, a lot of people will say Jason Knight, oh, he can't be there because of the assault weapon ban, right? And to those people, I say, as a veteran, as a combat veteran, someone who I operated an M249 squad automatic weapon, SAW. Military members might know that weapon. It was a very devastating weapon. That kind of weapon should never be on our streets. I don't care if you put it in your house. I don't care. It should not. You don't need it. What are you gonna do? I've thought about this a lot because I went for a. I've told this story on Divide America. If you have not watched Divide America on YouTube, the series is there. There's also a series on Substack. It's all of our shows that we did a weekly show with highlights, video. I really suggest you check it out. Now, where was I going with that? This is the problem with live, and when you're talking extemporaneously, you kind of lose your train of thought, and I don't have a producer or an intern or to help with that, because then they can bounce me right back. Jason Knight, veteran. Oh, we were talking about the weapons ban. So Do you think that an AR-15? What are you gonna do if someone comes to get it? Are you gonna use it? So think about this. You are now an owner of an AR-15. The government has said that you can't have it. Now I see you guys saying, "Yeah, come take it from me," but like, realistically, let's be real about this. Like the town chief, right? Let's use my town here, Chief Benson. Chief Benson would have to go, or other federal agents would go and say, "Hey, you can't have this weapon. I don't think you should have this weapon." Are you going to use it against those police officers? The people who say you're so pro police and back to blue. It's not tyranny taking away a weapon that George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, they couldn't even fathom, right? Right? An AR-15. I went to go buy a weapon, Mini 9. This is the story I was telling. I went to buy a Mini 9, was denied. Told them I was like I didn't want. I was denied because of internal reasons here in Cumberland. Ridiculous. But the point is, if I wanted to buy, right next to the 9 was it looked like an AK-47. Like it shot rounds very quickly, and it should not be anywhere near. Like I could have bought that weapon instead, right? Like imagine someone trained like very well trained. I can shoot like like no one's business. Right now, imagine someone crazy buying this weapon. Right? There's nothing written down that says this person's crazy because he's never gone to a doctor because it's hard to see doctors these days. And so now this crazy person who has he's got no documentation. He's crazy, but he just bought something that we would use in Iraq, something that we would use in Afghanistan, something that they're using on civilians in Gaza. It doesn't make sense to have this weapon or anything like this in your possession. If you want a 9, sure. If you think you're going to take out SWAT or the National Guard or if you think you're going to protect tyranny with your AK-47 or your AR-15, then you're joking yourself. No. You're not. You're not gonna. You might take out 1 or 2 people, but then you're gonna die, and your family's gonna die. Congratulations, you just died for a cause, right? Congratulations, you're dead. So that's the long way. Long story, George. That's the long way of talking about the negatives on Mr. Knight and Mr. Hoffman. Those aren't negatives, at least in my opinion. I saw 2 people. I talked to 2 people leaving the debate, and I asked them, "What do you guys think about how people did?" And the very first thing they said was, "Jason was impressive." I said, "Wow, that was I wasn't expecting that. That's the very first. I was not expecting that. Now I should have expected it because they were wearing a guns right activist shirt. It was a red shirt, so I should have expected it from them. But I was just I was quite impressed by Senator Knight. I was also impressed by Keith Hoffman. That's not an easy thing to do, to go up in front of it's. There was maybe a couple hundred or 100 people in there, but I mean, the lights are big. The lights are big. The questions are hard. He immediately, the very first question was almost disingenuous. I gave props to Ted and Tim, but the very first question was somewhat disingenuous, and I wrote notes about this. Let me find my note because it said, "Oh yeah, Ted and Tim, great banter to start. Kickback Kim didn't answer the first question." And then then it goes right into Keith Hoffman. Keith Hoffman was told he didn't have criminal XP, and Keith rebutted immediately. He said he had plenty of XP, and he explained why he had that XP. I will go back and recap it with the highlights on YouTube, and I will put them all on all of the socials and on CiscaNews.com. If you've stayed this long, or if you see this, there's a new feature on SiskaNews.com. It's SiskaNews.com/subscribe. Please, I don't ask much, right? I've never asked for really anything from you guys, and all I really want is for everybody or anybody to go to SiskaNews.com/subscribe and put your email in there, and please subscribe to that in particular. The reason why I need this is because social media places can just make you disappear. TikTok, I had a growing account. It seemed like I was doing kind of good, and all of a sudden, they cut it. They said account banned. I they said I had multiple warnings. I check my email daily. I have no warnings. I'm on TikTok. I was on TikTok Live. So the point is that social media places like that, they can just take your account for whatever reason they deem fit according to their rules, right? Because we all signed the I agree to any rule that we, if we want to sign up to an app. SiskaNews.com/subscribe is my own personal site. I pay for it. The data is protected. It's ours. So we can build this together like Dan did. Dan Le Batard, I'm a big fan of him and what he did breaking away from ESPN. My goal was to, I told my friends, and again, this is a story that I've told on our show often, but I'm just repeating myself for any new audience. Back in 2009, I was telling my friends in a New York City bar, I'm like, I'm going to be on that show. It was Around the Horn. It was on TV. And I'm like, I'm going to be on that show. Like, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to do this. And that was the goal. Unfortunately, Around the Horn isn't around anymore. And ESPN has really fallen into the pardon my language, but shitter. It really has. The wrestling, the Pat McAfee BS with Aaron Rodgers on there, making it tough. Aaron Rodgers making it tough for Steelers fans. Like, man, can you just leave? Can you just, like, I know you came back this year, and with Mike McCarthy, I'm expecting you guys to do pretty poorly. And this is what I mean about politics and sports, right? Like, this is my specialty, but this because Mr. Immunizer is apparently he started making amends with his family, which I think is great. I think it's hard to be estranged from your family. I was estranged from my father for a few years, and we made up. And I credit Aaron to that, but when you go on to Pat McAfee's show and then start talking crap about Dr. Fauci and other thing about the vaccine, like, just stop. You're a football player, right? That's what you do. You don't even know what you're talking about when you go on that show. Go take your ayahuasca, please. Just get away from the Steelers. Like, I know it's gonna be a horrible season this year. Like, I know our defense is amazing, and it's gonna keep us in games. It'd be nice if we actually lost, so we can get a new quarterback. So maybe you can. Like, I don't wish ill will on you. I really don't. But it's football. We'll see what happens. You're 40, what? 40, 41? 6 years younger than me. You were great. You were great. Your talents are immaculate. Just, you couldn't put it together. You couldn't put it together with the team. We'll never know why. Anyway, that's gonna be our show for today. I hope that you watch and take your own, or think about it. Actually, I want you to watch the debates, or, like, you could take my word for it. I would like for you to take my word for it. But realistically, you should be doing your research, doing your homework, looking up and see, because one debate is not how it's not how life works, right? Like, you could be bad in a debate, but then you go back to work, and then you're doing amazing work, right? Like it's a skill. Debating is a skill. Working is another skill. And for tonight, or at least for today, for last night and today, this list, Knight, Hoffman, Ahern, Solomon is a list of performance clips. Struggling with the word live is not gonna lie. Talking for 20 minutes live is not easy. Right? I usually write. I was writing scripts every week for this with highlights and video, and we are going to be going back to that in the fall. It's This studio is very warm. We do not have AC in this part of the studio, and it makes it quite hard to perform in the summer. But we are. I don't know if you've been watching. This is completely off base from the AG race, but if you've been following the Siska News Network, we've been accredited for multiple professional sporting events, including the Rhode Island Football Club and the Worcester Red Sox. So please follow. Again, if you like I mentioned before with subscribe, follow if you want to follow for sports. Follow for sports. If you want to follow for politics, if you want to follow for that, just subscribe. We will be back probably. I know exactly when we will be back. When school starts. It's the other thing about the summer. I try to be very transparent with everybody. It's hard to be the second parent, right? Like mama's working hard. Like mama's paying the bills, so daddy's got to handle the transportation, the feeding, I got two little ones that that need care in the summer. So I do a lot of not really daddy daycare because they're a little older and they're 9 and 7, but they still need attention. They still need their love, and I want to be there for them. So that's why I've been somewhat away this summer. But I haven't been away if you've been around, if you know what I mean. So take care. Today is Wednesday. It's 11:21 a.m. There's no home Rhode Island game this week, but next week on the 22nd, we will be there reporting from the sidelines. So go check out Rhode Island Football Club. If you're in Rhode Island, I highly suggest going to check it out. It's a very fun atmosphere. The Tidewater Landing has been it's been a success, I would say, in Pawtucket. A big success. I think soccer has grown, and I think it's growing bigger than baseball. I think baseball is going to have a horrific lockout next year, and that lockout is just going to drive everybody to soccer. People are ready into soccer. Like we have the MLS and the USL. Like I'm into USL personally. Like MLS, eh. Let's go USL. Let's go Rhode Island FC. I'm George Siska. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.